Life, as we know it, is not a journey through calm seas. It is more like a voyage across waters that can be serene at times, yet suddenly rise into waves that shake the very core of our being. The power of standing firm in storms is not just a book about survival, but about awakening to the strength that lies within when the winds howl and the skies turn dark. It is about learning that the storms we face are not punishments, nor are they random accidents, they are invitations to grow into the fullness of who we are meant to be. The book reminds us of a timeless truth: storms are not permanent. Just as seasons change and night gives way to dawn, no storm lasts forever. Yet, while we wait for the calm, we are challenged to decide how we will stand. Will we break under the weight of the wind, or will we anchor ourselves in faith, hope, and inner resilience? The author paints vivid images of people who have faced devastating losses, betrayals, disappointments, and setbacks, yet chose to stand. Their stories are not just tales of endurance, but testimonies of transformation. Standing firm does not mean being unshaken. It does not mean that we feel no pain, no fear, or no doubt. On the contrary, to stand firm often means to tremble, to ache, and to wonder why, but still choose not to surrender. Like a tree that bends under the storm yet refuses to uproot, standing firm is an act of courage rooted in the unseen soil of inner strength. The book gently explains that it is in the act of holding on, even when every part of us wants to let go, that we discover the depth of our character. One of the central messages woven throughout the narrative is that storms reveal who we truly are. In times of comfort and ease, it is easy to appear strong, kind, and faithful. But when the winds of life strip away our comforts, our true nature is exposed. Some collapse into bitterness, anger, or despair, while others dig deeper into patience, humility, and faith. This truth can be hard to accept, but it is liberating. Storms are mirrors. They show us both our weaknesses and our hidden strengths. In facing them, we have the chance to confront ourselves honestly and to grow into the person we long to become. The author shares the story of a woman who lost her business, her marriage, and her sense of worth in the same year. She described the season as a relentless storm that seemed designed to break her spirit. Yet, instead of letting despair consume her, she chose each day to take small, steady steps. She prayed, she journaled, she reached out to mentors, and she focused on what she could control rather than what she could not. Over time, she discovered a strength she never believed she had. Today, she looks back on that storm not with resentment, but with gratitude, for it was in that season that she learned her true identity was not tied to success, possessions, or even relationships, but to the inner resilience she carried within. The book also emphasizes the role of perspective. Storms have a way of narrowing our vision. When pain is sharp, all we can see is the immediate darkness. But standing firm requires lifting our eyes beyond the storm. The author uses the metaphor of a sailor who, instead of staring at the raging waves, fixes his gaze on the horizon. Likewise, in life, if we keep our eyes on hope, on the belief that this season will pass, we find the strength to endure. Perspective does not erase pain, but it gives us reason to keep walking through it. Another profound lesson is that storms teach us surrender, not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of trust. Many of us try to control every detail of life, believing that if we plan well enough, nothing will go wrong. But storms remind us that control is an illusion. We cannot command the winds, or stop the rain. What we can do is anchor our trust in something greater than ourselves, in God, in the flow of life, in the certainty that growth is taking place even when we cannot see it. This surrender is not weakness, but wisdom. It frees us from anxiety and gives us peace even in uncertainty. The book tells of a man who faced sudden illness. His career was cut short, his dreams put on hold, and his body weakened. At first, he fought desperately to return to how things were. But when he realized that the storm was beyond his control, he shifted. Instead of clinging to the life he had, he began to surrender to the life being shaped through him. He found new purpose in mentoring others, discovered joy in simple moments with family, and deepened his faith. His storm became the soil of a new life, one that was richer and more meaningful than he could have imagined. Equally important, the power of standing firm in storms reminds us that we are not meant to stand alone. Too often, we think resilience means doing everything by ourselves. Yet, storms can isolate us if we let pride or fear close us off from others. The author insists that strength is often found in community, whether in friends, family, mentors, or faith groups. Sharing our burdens lightens them. Standing shoulder to shoulder with others gives us courage to endure what would crush us alone. The book beautifully illustrates this with the story of a community that rallied around a family who lost their home in a natural disaster. Through the love and support of others, the family not only rebuilt their house but also rebuilt their hope. Perhaps one of the most moving insights of the book is that storms prepare us for future seasons. They are not wasted. Every storm we endure equips us with wisdom, empathy, and resilience that can later be used to help others. What once was our deepest pain can become our most powerful testimony. The scars we carry become symbols of survival, reminders of our capacity to endure, and guides for others who are just entering their storms. The book suggests that true strength is not just surviving for ourselves, but turning our survival into service for others. As the chapters unfold, we are invited to see storms not as enemies, but as teachers. They teach us humility by reminding us of our limits. They teach us patience by forcing us to wait. They teach us courage by challenging us to stand. And they teach us gratitude, because when the storm finally passes, we emerge with a deeper appreciation for peace, joy, and the simple blessings of life. By the end, the message is clear: standing firm in storms is not about pretending we are invincible. It is about accepting our humanity, embracing our vulnerability, and yet choosing not to give up. It is about believing in the light even when the night is long. It is about holding on with quiet strength, knowing that every storm eventually becomes part of our story, a story not of defeat, but of triumph. This book is a reminder that we all carry within us an anchor. Sometimes it lies hidden until the winds rise, but once the storm comes, we discover that we are stronger, braver, and more capable than we ever imagined. And when the calm returns, we do not return the same. We return transformed, deeper in wisdom, greater in compassion, and more alive to the miracle of life itself.